Salvete discipuli. I hope that you're doing well today. I'm sorry that I can't be with you, but I have a lesson prepared for you here. So please, if you would, do a couple of things for me. Pull out your notes that we took last time, your vocabulary notes, and also turn to page centesimum quartam in your book. That is page 104, and go to line 33. Which is right here in your text. The start of Lectio Secunda. Today in class, we are going to read together Lectio Secunda. So please, if you would, follow along carefully in your text and use your notes to help you when we encounter a new vocabulary word. For those of you who are in section 8C, I have a few more vocabulary words to add to your notes. So now that you have your notes out, please look with me at these few new vocabulary words that we didn't get to that are in Lectio 1 and 2. Ecce. Primum vocabulum est vocabulum nudus, nuda, nudum. Nudus significat sine vestimentis, or in English, naked. It's an adjective that means naked. So please copy that word down into your notes if you don't have it. The second word is the word solere, or solet and solent. This word means rorsus et rorsus facere, to be accustomed to, or to usually do something. And this word always partners with an infinitive. So for instance, homines solent dormire nocte. Humans are accustomed to sleep at night. That would be an example. So copy down solere. The next word is poscere. Poscere significat iubere dari, to order something to be given to you. Or in English, to demand or to request something. The forms are poscit and poscunt in the indicative. And finally, the last word to add to your notes, if you're in section 8C, is tibi, which means ad te. It's the dative form of the word te, which means you, so it translates as to you in English. Excellent. I hope that you have copied all of those words down into your notes. If you're in section 8D, I hope that you have reviewed these words and are refreshed as to their meaning. We will now proceed to read Lectio 2 together. So again, everyone please be following along with your eyes in your own text as I read the Lectio with you. So we are on line 33 on page 104. Davus quintum in lecto jacentem relinquit, et cubiculum Marci intrat. Marcus ad huc dormit. Davus ad puerum dormientem adit, eumque excitat. Quomodo servus puerum excitat? In aurem pueri dormientis, magna voce clamat, Marce, mane est! Eo modo excitatur Marcus, et oculos aperiens servum apud lectum stantem videt. Iam neuter eduobus pueris dormit. Hora prima est, inquit Davus, surge e lecto. Marcus e lecto surgit. Iam non cubat in lecto, sed ante lectum stat. Marcus davum aquam afere iubet. Afer mihi aquam ad manus. Servus Marco aquam afert et ecce aqua inquit. Lava faciam et manus. Manus tuae sordidae sunt. Bene, let's stop here briefly and go over this section of text together, starting back on line 33. Davus quintum in lecto jacentem relinquit, et cubiculum Marci intrat. Now remember, Davos has recently been in whose room? In cubiculo quinti. Okay? Sed nunc Davos relinquit quintum. Remember, relinquit means leaves behind. Davos relinquit quintum, et quid facit quintus? Quintus in lecto jacet. So we see this form, jacentem, which is a new form. Remember, jacentem is what kind of word? A participle. It is a participle. So that's when we take a verb and we turn it into an adjective. So this means that Davos leaves behind Quintus lying in bed. Jacentem is accusative, and it is modifying Quintus. It's describing him. And what else does Davos do? Et cubiculum Marci intrat. Intrat in cubiculum Marci. Marcus ad hoc dormit. And here's a new word for us. Do you remember what ad hoc means? Ad hoc means etiam nunc. Marcus etiam nunc dormit. Marcus is still sleeping. Davos ad puerum dormientem adit, eumque excitat. So Davos ambulat ad puerum qui dormit, that is ad Marcum qui ad hoc dormit, et excitat Marcum. Quo modo servus puerum excitat? In aurem pueri dormientis magna voce clamat. Remember, excitat significat to rouse, to stir, to awaken. So we're wondering, quo modo servus puerum excitat? Servus clamat in aurem pueri dormientis. And again, we have this participle dormientis modifying pueri. What case is dormientis? Can anyone guess? Hopefully you're thinking genitive case because it's modifying pueri. Here it's saying that Davos shouts into the ear, the aurem, of the sleeping boy, the pueri dormientis. How? Magna voce, with a large voice, with a loud voice. And he says, Marce, mane est. Eo modo, Marcus excitator. Here, eo modo means in that manner or in that way. Marcus excitator. Marcus is roused. Remember, excitator is passive. Et oculos aperiens servum apud lectum stantem videt. Now this is a little bit tricky. Here is a participle, aperiens. What word do you think that this modifies? Hopefully you're thinking Marcus, the subject of this sentence. Remember that when we encounter a participle, if it has an NS ending, that means that it is nominative case. And otherwise, it's going to have an NT in the stem, just like dormientis up here. And then it's going to have some kind of third declension ending, dormientis. If it were accusative, it would be dormientem. So if it has the NS ending, that means it's nominative. In this sentence, back to this sentence on line 37, eo modo excitator Marcus. In this manner, Marcus is roused from sleep. And aperiens oculos, this means opening his eyes. Videt, Marcus sees the servum stantem apud lectum. He sees the slave standing, stantem, apud lectum, next to the bed. So here's something new with participles that we haven't encountered before. Here, we're seeing that participles, even though they're functioning as adjectives, they can still have direct objects because Marcus is described as opening what? Opening his eyes. And here the servant or the slave is described as standing where? Standing next to the bed. So okolos is actually the direct object of the participle aperiens. We'll talk about that more later. Finally, the last sentence of this paragraph, Jam neuter e duobus pueris dormit. If you remember neuter, that means neither. So now neither out of the two boys, or neither of the two boys, is sleeping. Let's go on to the next paragraph. Hora prima est, inquit davus. And here, inquit is a new word, which means dicit. Hora prima est, dicit davus. Surge electo. Et surgere means rise, right? Rise out of your bed. Marcus electo surgit. Jam non cubat in lecto, sed ante lectum stat. Marcus davum aquam afere iubet. Marcus orders davum, right, iubet davum, to do what? Afere aquam. Remember, afere is a new word, which just means fere ad. So Marcus iubet davum, fere aquam ad Marcum. He orders him to bring him water. And here is the imperative form of the word afere. It is afer. He's saying, da mihi, or afer mihi, aquam, ad manus, for my hands. Quia Marcus volt lavare manus. Servus Marco aquam afert, line 44, et ecce aqua inquit, lava faciem et manus. Manus tuae sordidae sunt. So he's giving him a command. He's saying, lava faciem. Remember, lavare means to wash. So wash your face. Et manus. Quia manus tuae sordidae sunt. If you remember, manus is actually fourth declension. And here it is nominative plural. So sordidae is an adjective that's describing manus. And it's also nominative plural, saying that your hands are sordidae, your hands are dirty. Okay, hopefully you're understanding the paragraphs thus far. Well done. Let's go on to the next page, page 105. Marcus primum manus lavat, dende faciem, davus, aures quoque lava, sed aures, inquit Marcus, in facie non sunt. Tace puer, non modo faciem, sed totum caput lava, merge caput in aquam. Marcus caput totum in aquam mergit, atque etiam aures et capillum lavat. Iam totum caput eos purum est. Aqua non est pura, sed sordida. Let's just go over this little section together, starting at the top of the page. Marcus lavat primum manus, dende faciem. And here actually are a couple words that weren't in the slideshow. Primum et dende. So I'd like you to add these to your notes. I'm going to give you the definitions now. Primum is probably a word you can guess the meaning of. Primum significat first. Primum. We've seen this as an adjective, but now we're seeing it as an adverb. Primum significat first. Dende is a new word. Dende significat then. Not in the sense of tunc, but in the sense of next. Then or next. So Marcus, this sentence reads, Marcus first washes his manus, et dende faciem, and then his face. But that's not enough. Davus says on the second line of this page, aures quoque lava. Lava aures. Sed aures inquit Marcus in facie non sunt. Cur Marcus est iratus, quia davus dicit lava faciem, sed aures non sunt in facie. Right? Marcus doesn't think that the ears are part of the face. So he doesn't know why he has to wash them, because Davus just told him to wash his face. But Davus responds, Take puer, on line 49. Non modo faciem, sed totum caput lava. Merge caput in aquam. Merge caput in aquam. I wonder if one of you can demonstrate what mergere caput in aquam means, right? It means to submerge your whole head in water. So merge is a command. Line 51, Marcus caput totum in aquam mergit, adque etiam aures et capillum lavat. Iam totum caput eus purum est. Aqua non est pura, sed sordida. Et vos scitis, you remember, that purum is the opposite of sordidum. It means pure or clean. So nunc caput Marci est purum. Sed aqua non est pura, aqua nunc sordida est. Et cur aqua nunc sordida est. Everyone be thinking, why est aqua pura? Or sorry, non pura, sed sordida. Cur aqua est sordida. Hopefully, you were thinking, aqua sordida est, quia Marcus lavat caput et capillos in aqua. Marcus just washed his whole face, he washed his whole head, he washed his hair, and so the water is dirty because his head was dirty. Let's go on to the next paragraph, starting on line 54. Aqua qua Marcus lavatur frigida est, itaque puer manus et caput solum lavat, non totum corpus. Mane Romani faciem et manus aqua frigida lavant. Post meridiem totum corpus lavant aqua calida. So let's go over this paragraph because it's a little important detail about Roman customs. Starting line 54. Aqua qua Marcus lavatur frigida est. And this is a little tricky. What the subject of this sentence is aqua. What is that qua referring to? This qua right here on line 54. And what case is it? Hopefully you're thinking it refers to aqua and that it's in the ablative case. This is a relative pronoun, but it's functioning as an ablative of instrument. The water with which Marcus lavator, or the water with which Marcus is washed, frigida est. Marcus is washed with cold water. Itaque ergo puer manus et caput solum lavat, non totum corpus. Is there anyone here qui solet lavare totum corpus aqua frigida? I hope not, but it is a practice among some to wash one's whole body with cold water. But it's not a very pleasant sensation, right? The reason Marcus doesn't wash his whole body is because the water is cold. So in the morning, Marcus is just going to wash his face, and it will wake him up. Mane, if you see the last couple words on line 55, Romani faciem et manus aqua frigida lavant. So here mane, which as you know is a word that doesn't decline, but it's being used as an adverb to mean in the morning. Dum mane est. In the morning, Romani homines lavant faciem et manus aqua frigida. With cold water, they wash their face and hands. Post meridiem, totum corpus lavant, aqua calida. So in the afternoon, the Romans wash their whole body with warm water or hot water, but not in the morning. So this was their bathing practice, and it was often the case that they would go to public baths to bathe in the afternoon. And it would be a place where they would talk with their friends, where they would hear the news. It was a kind of social gathering place. All right, hopefully we're ready for the next paragraph. Starting on line 58. Marcus caput et manus tergens davum interrogat. Cur frater meus tam quietus est? Davus respondet. Quintus ad huc in lecto est. In lecto? Quintus? Qui ante me surgere solet? Ad huc dormit? Excita eum. Non dormit, inquit Davus. Frater tuus vigilat, nec surgere potest, quod pes et caput ei dolet. Mihi quoque caput dolet. Tibi nec caput nec pes dolet. Caput valens non dolet, nec membra valentia. Let's go over this section again together, starting on line 58. Marcus, so right up here. Marcus caput et manus tergens. And I don't know if you remember tergens. Said tergens is a word that comes from the verb tergere, which means to rub or to wipe. And this is the participial form of the verb. It's a participle. And it's going with Marcus because it's got that NS, so it's nominative. Marcus wiping or rubbing his caput et manus. Et cur Marcus tergit caput et manus? Quia aqua est in capite et in manibus. Ergo Marcus tergit aquam a manibus et capite. He's wiping away the water from his head and his hands. Remember, these are direct objects of this participle tergens, wiping his manus and wiping his caput. So Marcus, while he's doing this, interrogat Davum. Cur frater meus tam quietus est? Cur Quintus est quietus? Davus responded. Quintus ad huc in lecto est. Quid, says Marcus, in lecto? Quintus qui ante me surgere solet? Ad huc dormit? Excita eum. Ergo quid putat Marcus? Marcus putat Quintum dormire. Sed dormit ne Quintus? Non. Quintus non dormit. So Marcus says, what? Quintus is in bed? Quintus in lecto est? Quintus qui, who, ante me surgere solet? And here's this new word solet, which means is accustomed, or it usually does. So what is it that Quintus usually does? Quintus, who is accustomed to surgere ante me, to rise before me. Ad huc dormit, is still sleeping. Excita eum, right? He says to Davus, he commands him, he says, rouse him. Marcus is appalled that Quintus is still able to be sleeping when Quintus usually is up long before Marcus. But Davus replies, non dormit, line 63. Frater tuus vigilat, nec surgere potest, quia pes et caput ei dolet. Right? Quintus vigilat, Quintus non dormire potest, nec surgere potest, nor is he able to rise, quia pes et caput dolet Quinto. They're hurting Quintus, his foot and his head. Marcus, mihi quoque caput dolet. So you see, Marcus is trying to find a way out of having to go to school. And he sees to himself, well, if Quintus says that his foot is hurting and his head is hurting, then he doesn't have to rise out of bed, so he is not able to go to school. Maybe I can try the same thing. I can say that my head hurts. And you see again the use of the word mihi, which means to me. This is a use of the dative case, which is still a little bit new for us. We've seen it a few times before. But it's called the dative of reference. And it is saying that my head hurts to me, right? It is hurting to me. We would just say in English, my head hurts. But in Latin, they're making sure that it's clear that it's to him that this bad thing is happening. Davos responds, tibi nec caput nec pes dolet. Tibi means to you, right? To you, neither your caput nor your pes is hurting. So he saw through Marcus's lie, just like Magister Gombertus seeing through a 7th grader's tall tale about his homework. Caput valens non dolet, nec membra valentia. So here caput valens, remember this valens comes from the participle valet, meaning is healthy, is strong. So caput valens is a healthy or strong head does not dolet, doesn't hurt, nor do membra valentia. This is the plural nominative form in the neuter of the participle valens. So membra valentia are healthy limbs, nor do healthy limbs, membra valentia, dolent. They don't hurt. Whew, well done. We're almost at the end of the lectio. We just have one more paragraph thereabouts to read. So let's go to line 68, per fenestram. Per fenestram apertam intrat aer frigidus. Marcus friget, quod corpus eius nudum est, id est sine vestimentis. Itaque Marcus vestimenta sua a servo poscit. Da mihi tunicam et togam vesti me. Davus puero frigenti tunicam et togam dat. Neque eum vestit, necesse est puerum ipsum se vestire. Marcus primum tunicam induit, dende togam, puer iam nudus non est. Bene, let's go back and reread, starting on line 68, this paragraph. Per fenestram apertam intrat aer frigidus. Ergo, quid venit in cubiculum? Aer frigidus. Marcus friget, quod corpus eius nudum est. A couple new words here. Remember, friget significat sentire aerem frigidum, aut frigidus esse. Marcus frigidus est. Marcus friget, he is cold, quia corpus eius nudum est. Id est sine vestimentis. That is, without clothes. So if his corpus is without clothes, his corpus is naked. Itaque, line 70, Marcus vestimenta sua a servo, adavo, poscit. Right? And again, vestimenta is a new word. Vestimenta means articles of clothing. Ergo Marcus poscit vestimenta. Poscit is a new word which means ubere dari, to demand or request. Marcus demands his clothes from this slave. Da mihi tunicam et togam, right? Give me tunicam et togam. These are particular Roman clothes. Vestime. And here, vesti is also a new word. Remember, vestire means to dress. So what is he commanding Davos to do? He's saying, dress me, that lazy Marcus. Davus puero frigenti, tunicam et togam dat. Davus dat Marco vestimenta. But here frigenti is modifying puero, What case is frigenti? Let's first find out the case of puero, because since this is a participle, it's going to function like an adjective and match the case of the noun it's modifying. So here, davos dat, togam et tunicam, puero. It's the indirect object, it's dative. He gives the clothes to the boy. What kind of boy? To the cold, shivering boy. So that is also dative. It's the third declension dative ending to match the dative ending of puero. Remember that participles use third declension endings. Neque, on to the last few words of this page, neque eum vestit, sed davos non vestit Marcum. Necesse est puerum ipsum se vestire. It is necessary for the boy ipsum. Ipsum, remember, is from ipse, and it means himself. It is necessary for the boy himself, vestire se. And se also means himself. It is necessary for the boy himself to dress himself. So Davos is not doing his work for him. Marcus primum tunicam induit, dende togam. And again, we see primum et dende, first and then. So Marcus primum tunicam induit. Induit is a new word. Remember, induit means something similar to vestit. Induere means to put on, right? So primum Marcus puts on his tunicam. Dende Marcus induit togam. And I maybe said earlier that the toga was a garment that was reserved for men. And while this is true, I believe that in this context, there is a different type of toga that Marcus is wearing, which is one that's particularly designed for boys. But when he would become a man, there would be an adult toga that was particularly designed for men, which would be a little bit different than the one that the boys might wear, and that would show that he was of age. Puer iam nudus non est, right? Quia puer habet vestimenta in corpore suo. Ergo iam non est sine vestimentis, non est nudus. And there is the end of Lectio 2. Now, I have an assignment for you. Hopefully, you've been following along carefully in your text, and you've understood everything that's gone on. I've used a little bit more English than I might normally if I were with you. I would like you now to write for me an English summary of everything that happens in Lectio 2. And it can be a brief summary, but I would like you to include the essential details, the essential plot points, and the characters, right? You need to include all the characters and the main things that they do, the main things they ask, the main actions that they take. And I'd like you to write that for me and turn it in to me the next time we have class so that I can see that you are following along in class today. You will also have a brief homework assignment that your teacher will hand out to you. And part of that assignment for all of you is going to be rereading this Lectio 2. Gratias vobis, thank you all, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and a wonderful rest of class. Volete.